Step into my circle with the opposite of Urkel. When I pull up flying purple, people eaters could invite me. I sealed the fate of Herschel. And I just leave them on the limb and hand them my business. His rappers are walking that I already killed them. Skin blanco, lyrical weapon kicking like a bronco. Head honcho, spherical presence came from the grotto. A dead rapper, wrap his body in a poncho. And crack his melon with a combo like pronto. Sayonara.
Hey, this is Perry L. Duff coming at you live from the Hustlers Corner, New York City, saying thank you for joining us again today. In this part 2 of our session with Thomas Freeme, we talk about, once again, his past, but we also share our differing viewpoints on the industrial prison system. We also talk about a particular organization that, unfortunately, the Hustlers Corner, New York City is no longer involved working with, but was working with. This organization is coming from behind bars that's taken full advantage of the industrial prison system and has literally brought it to its knees. And we talk about one particular famous person whose business and products is actually being made as a result of the industrial prison system and how his company has invested in it. So once again, thank you for joining us. And as always, help us grow, hit that like button, share, don't forget to leave a comment, and subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
We've interviewed guys on the show, one guy by the name of Jeffrey Deskovic. He was put behind bars for a crime he didn't commit either. There were white guys going behind bars for crimes they didn't commit.
I just interviewed one. I just interviewed one, Temujin Kinsu, right? That's on my podcast. 37 years this man has been locked up, innocent, out of Michigan, because he was involved with a girl. He was involved with a girl that he broke up with. She started dating the mayor's son, got the mayor's son on drugs, or he was a drug dealer, however it went. But the mayor's son ends up getting killed. They put the whole rap to cover up the fact that the mayor's son was a drug dealing crackhead. They arrest this Temujin, which at the time his name was Freddie Freeman, and completely kangaroo court this guy and give him a life sentence. And he's been in prison since 1987. The evidence showing that he was 450 miles away from this. The man, his attorney, the evidence on his attorney was a crackhead mafia tie. It's corrupt. But see, I don't want to use that word because that word is so cliche. It really don't. When we know that it's corrupt, but it's like, this is in your face, Perry. This is like, there is so much evidence to show that this guy is innocent, and it's like we don't care. We don't care. We're not letting him out. We're not hearing his case, and we're not letting him out. Now what? This is what it's like.
Well, then let me ask you this. So with that being the case, why would you try to win over people and get them to be more accepting of you when you see the way that this system is? I think what you're doing is fantastic. You're doing what you were meant to do. It's our stories that carve out for us our place in the society, and we don't need their approval to do it. And just like you said, you just walk down the street and, people are home with smartphones and they want to share their stories. We get that constantly. You'll be amazed how many people come to us wanting to share their stories. They want to tell the truth.
Absolutely.
From outside, outside of the community. It's oh my goodness. But the thing is, it's that common thread we see all the time. And it always starts in the home, especially in our relationship with our parents. We can't emphasize that enough.
But you know what upset me about this? You have about over 1 million people in jail now is innocent, even on death row. And there's no one. I mean, you could do so many organizations or podcasts to speak for these people, but there is no action taken over this. This what kills me. Recently, they had death row killed 2 innocent men. I'm sure you heard about that. And this upset me, and you know how many people invest into these private prisons? How much money they get for each prisoner? Now, my research might be wrong, but I think it's $500 for each head, for each prisoner.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, this is a money go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not even factoring in the programs that they have, for RDAP in the federal institutions. They get awarded $30,000 towards their budget for every inmate that graduates that class. So and they're pushing these inmates through that class. Like, these are privileged inmates. They can fight. It's so hard for them to get into trouble, because then they have to take them out of that program and they lose that seat. So they don't want to do that. So again, Perry, the important thing, like you say, you have so many people coming to you and all of this, right? We have to understand this. Ties into what Ms. Jeanette just said too, because that's important as well, is we have to understand that the prisons is a business. We know that. Mm-hmm. It's a corporation, right? These are facts. It's a bottom line. It's a corporation, and it's a very profitable corporation that generates billions and billions and billions of dollars each year. The government is not going to overturn that. They're not going to give us the tools to overturn that. So when we're going down here and we're picketing to our governors and all of that, it's wasting air and it's wasting energy and it's wasting time, because it's like going to Amazon and telling Jeff Bezos to close down his business, mm-hmm. right? He's not going to do it, mm-hmm. and he's not going to help you do it. But what he will do is try to find a way to pacify you and make you go away. Mm-hmm. And that's what the government does, mm-hmm. you see? Mm-hmm. So we have to understand that as a people. And understanding that, then we have to understand that, well, if this is the case, right, then its attack is on all of us. Mm-hmm. Why am I hating you, Perry, because you're Black, when you can help me fight against who my enemy is? See, and these things don't make sense to me. But see, the enemy also knows, right, that they don't want us to come together. They don't want you and I to come together, Perry. So what do? They market division, right? And how? Okay, so the Spanish community, we're going to call them, Cuban American and Latin American, and the Black community, we're going to call them African American, right? And then, everybody else, we're going to call them /American. But me, I'm not German American. I'm not European American. I'm just American. But everybody that's not me is a /, you see? Mm-hmm. And it causes division amongst all of us. Again, this is Sun Tzu, the art of war. Right. In order to take down a larger, we're bigger than the government. Right. We can overtake the government if we wanted to. If we all came together, we're 350 million people, right? Mm-hmm. They can't control 350 million people, but what they can control is small pockets of people, by turning the people against each other and keeping division and segregation. That's why they teach it in prisons. Right. That's why prisons are segregated. It's to keep that mentality going.
Let me say this. You're right. However, there is one thing that I want to point out to you. Don't be taken aback about what I'm about to say.
No. But I'm all about education, Perry.
The thing is that, I've been doing my homework on this. Mm-hmm. And what I'm surprised to find is that the more businesses come to have their goods and services made in the industrial prison system, I think that's the better. We are involved with an organization from behind bars that has galvanized inmates around the country. And what they do, and they've done it already on numerous occasions, they have said that, okay, you want us to make your products for the rest of our lives behind bars? This is what we're going to do. We want these demands met. If you don't, we boycott and we don't make your products. They did that on several occasions. The companies that having their products made lost millions, and they went insane. The result was that wardens got fired, officials got fired, corrections officers lost their jobs. It was insane. They have actually started a movement that has turned this entire country, and any business that wants to come and get their products made for cheap, turned it on its head, and it was working like a charm. I would like to say that I think it's a good idea that more businesses come to the industrial prison system and have their goods and services made. Because from what I see, God Himself is putting the hands of the economic imaging of this country into the hands of inmates. That's one of the most dangerous things you can do.
America was built on the backs of prisoners,
Yeah.
And
but
it's
the thing was during that time, they didn't have the option to strike.
right.
Today they do. And they do it effectively. And it's turned the entire economic engine of this country upside down on its head. I was amazed when I talked to this guy, what I found out. But he's so secretive about it because they're like, they have won not only inmates, but they've won corrections officers to their side. They've won wardens to their side. They see what's going on, and they've actually joined. Some of them have actually joined them in this effort. I was amazed. Mm-hmm. They have gotten I think they might have even gotten a law passed because of their boycotting of not making products for these companies. So I say the more companies want to come onto this industrial prison system, the better. The other thing that I like about this, and I think is a good idea, is that it exposes who the real sellouts are. Mm-hmm. I was shocked to find out that one of the people getting their goods and services made in the industrial prison system was none other than Michael Jordan. I was like, Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan, yeah.
He's getting his goods and services made, getting Nike sneakers made, and his clothing line made in the industrial prison system. So I'm like, okay, Michael, now I would love, now can I imagine him having Michael Jordan on the Hustle's Corner say, okay, Mike, you want to get your products made by your own brothers and sisters behind bars? This is what we want from you.
He probably cursed us out.
No, but that's exactly it, though, Perry, and that's some of what my Coming Home Coalition is about. I've been saying that from the beginning. Like it's corporate's responsibility to step up and start taking care of the people essentially that help build them. Yes, corporations should start getting involved in the prison aspect of it, start bringing the jobs, as you say. But these inmates, say Michael Jordan, say this one prison, say Rikers Island is making Jordans, right? Then everybody that was at Rikers Island making those Jordans should be able to get out and get a job working for Michael Jordan's company. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because he has an established resume, background experience with this product. So again, this is where corporate really needs to step up and start programs that if we're going to bring our product to you, right, then we're going to train you how to work in our business. So when you get out, you come and you work for us, right, and you build us up or whatnot. So absolutely, they should get involved, but not for the profit, but for the betterment of people that are behind bars that have made mistakes.
I agree. I think that, if you're going to make money off the backs of, the minority community and poor, and the poor, like, poor white America, if you're going to make the money off the backs of us again, you need to be aware there's going to be a price you're going to pay for it.
There's no question. I want to point this out, Perry, because it's very, very important. The brothers that died building the Sun Belt, of America, the Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, all these industries. Perry, they used to work these people, right? Because they were a prisoner now, right? They were subjected to work to pay off their debt, peonage, which is now we know is illegal, Mm-hmm. So because they were working these people under a prison regime, they can work these people, Perry, 16, 18 hours a day of hard labor. Mm-hmm. Every day. These, we're not talking about guys that just go out and beat on a rock from 9 to 5 and come back and eat their meal, sit down, relax. No, these people worked every minute that they were awake until they either died out in the field, died back in their barracks, and because it was a prison thing. When that person died, they would just throw them away and bring in another prisoner to fill his shoes.
Right.
This is the ugliness of what America was. I don't want to skip over that because I want people to understand what prisons and prisoners have gone through to build America.
This concludes this session of the Hustle's Corner in New York City. If you are a person that's incarcerated and you have books that you'd like to get out and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner in New York City, Tales from the Big Cities. If you are a person who has been wrongfully convicted of a crime that you did not commit and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City Victims of the System series. If you are a person who has been self-reformed, active in the community, came out of a past nefarious life, to a more positive one and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City Legends of the Hood series. If you are a Black business owner and you want to share your story of how you got your business off the ground and how you faced many challenges to succeed, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City Black Business Movement series. If you are a musician or an artist or a vocalist or a rapper, hip hop artist, and you want to share your story about your career and how you have grown it into success, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City On the Grind series. And if you are a woman who has been through traumatic times in her life only to overcome them, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City Lipstick Stories series. And if you're enjoying the show, please help us grow. Show your love. Like, share, leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you again. This is Perry L. Duff from the Hustle's Corner, New York City. Peace.
Taking off the head of any rapper with a crown, sticking them on down, let them all down until they get a second to make it evident now. Send them all out. Got a Navy man in my field, we target everybody.